All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, we got a big fight going down. BFL 68, September the 30th, a welterweight affair. Kennan Kellar getting out there with Bobby Poulter, and excited to be talking to Bobby once again. How's your day going so far there, Bobby?
Good, man. It's good. 2 training sessions already today, so I just had a few clients after, and now I'm resting and recovering for the rest of the night.
Yeah, for sure. And are these clients is it related to strength and conditioning kind of stuff, like more of a nutrition kind of thing? Like, what are you doing with that there?
Yep, so I have a few strength and conditioning clients. This afternoon was actually 2 boxing clients. Just doing some one-on-ones, just learning the basics, pretty simple stuff.
No, that must be cool though, man. I feel like I've seen a couple of the different outdoor workout kind of group class kind of dynamics. Those seem to be the workouts you really enjoy, like getting a bit of the wind going and a bit of the sun on your back there. So how have some of those things been there?
Oh yeah, man, it's amazing. To be able to do what you love and then be able to do it outside in the sunshine, right?
Yeah.
Why not combine the two? Pretty much that's been keeping me busy. I live in the gym, so being able to get outside and teach those classes is helpful. I got a great group of people surrounding myself. I run it, and it's honestly, it's just a blessing to be able to do such the things that you love, even when you're 3 weeks out of fight camp. An hour in the evening, to have outdoor classes and still be able to make a living is something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, the passion about fitness very much comes through, man. It's cool that you're down to impart that to other people there, but it seems like you're still working hard with Lyndon Whitlock and a lot of the usual suspects as far as people kind of training you and whatnot there. As far as the sparring partners though, how has that been there? Has it been a bit complicated with the backdrop of things still kind of going on with the pandemic, or have things cleared up a little bit where you can train a little more fluidly than maybe you would have even a few months ago, kind of thing?
In the last few months, it's definitely stabled out a little bit. At first, it was hard, especially with Parabellum closing down at the same time.
Yeah.
So, Parabellum was like a hub for everyone to come from all over, from Muskoka and from London. We had the best guys coming out from everywhere just to spar and to train. And so, it's definitely very different now. We still have our core team at Para, obviously, Kyron Cameron, Suri City. We got lots of good guys out. So I'm still able to get my sparring rounds in. It's a little more challenging in my weight class, right? Because a couple of the guys that were my training partners, actually both Scott Hudson and Kyron Cameron, are now moving down a weight class to 55. So, it's tougher to find guys your size, but I've made it work. I got a couple other guys around. I got Tom Theo, when Aaron Jeffrey's in town, obviously. So, I make it work. It's definitely not as easy as it used to be, but, you just got to take some accountability for your career now. And that's something that I never had to do. It was always so easy. I needed training partners. I just show up at Para. And now I got to message them. I got to harass guys to come out. And, it's just a little accountability for it.
No, that's a good word for it, for sure, man. And I think, one of the big things that even myself, I've seen in the last, couple years when all of this is kind of, just sort of settled in, it's just, who's able to kind of, adapt and just sort of figure out a different methodology and sort of make the most out of the situation. So as much as maybe there was, I guess, different periods in the timeline where it might have been stifling or even frustrating, perhaps, how cool is it to, I guess, be able to have made those adaptations as smoothly as you did? Because it seems like you were pretty fluid with all that.
Oh, yeah, man. When Parabellum closed, me and Scott Hudson opened our own facility. It was a smaller facility, but it without that, we would have literally had nowhere to be. So we took it in our own hands, and, the team is running smoothly through there. It's not a huge facility, but it gets the job done for now. And, hopefully, Lyndon and Lucas Chaston, those guys will open a new facility soon, and we can be back to, regular scheduled programming. But, but everything's okay. So far, there's never been a time in my life where I was I have no training partners.
Yeah.
And that's not something that every fighter has gone through, right? Some fighters are I literally have no training partners right now because they got to isolate or whatever, or they don't have a local gym anymore. So, something.
Yeah, no, to the point of Parabellum closing, that definitely bummed me out when I saw it. But it seems like Lyndon and, everybody is really adapting well and trying to get something going. So I'm sure something will be in place relatively soon. Just so many great minds and martial artists throughout the Ontario area. Like you said, it was such a hub where people would come from just many different places to get out there. So I'm sure something will, kind of pan out. Hopefully sooner than later, like you said, back to the regularly scheduled programming sooner than later, hopefully.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, a little insight tip. Lyndon and Lucas are working on something big in the coming weeks, so I'm very excited for them. And
awesome.
I think that it won't take much for them to be back to their, reclaimed glory that they had before.
Yeah, well, that makes me happy to hear, man. I mean, you love to see people that are great at what they do get to kind of showcase that. But it seems like big things have been kind of coming your way in recent times there, getting some management opportunities out there and everything like that, like LCA Sports Management. How long has that been in the works there?
Yeah, so I've been working with LCA for about a month now. I was pretty hesitant on signing with management. I've been in talks with a few, but at this stage of my career, I wasn't sure if that would be something that was in my best interest at the moment. But I had some good conversations with the crew from LCA. Lamont Chappelle, and they're awesome guys, and they offered me some opportunities that I couldn't say no to. And after this contract with BFL is up, I got 2 fights left. I very, very much am excited to see where that brings me. Especially in the States, and they got their own facilities down there, and they're taking care of their guys. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
No, that's interesting. You gave the insight with the BFL fights there. So is I guess the goal to get yourself to a point to contend for a title there, and then to kind of go in that direction, see what happens thereafter? Because I guess what I was going to ask you prior to understanding the BFL contract situation there, I was wondering maybe if you'd fight for a BTC or something like that, just because you're ranked there and the title's vacant. So is the path in BFL to garner that championship? Is that what you're looking at for the next few fights, or just solely focused on this one because it's been a little while competing?
Obviously, I'm solely focused on this one, but I'm very excited for after this one and even the next one, because I would like to start competing for regional belts pretty soon. I've had 2 pro fights now. And it was a shame that, my momentum got stopped by the pandemic. But, the only momentum that stopped was my actual fighting. But I've been training in a different version of now than I was, when I fought Gujan on PF. It's very, very, very different now. So I could see it in the next year or two. I could see myself holding a few regionals, maybe BFL, maybe BTC. I think that's kind of hard to tell what's next for who, because, and, whoever gives me the best opportunities, I will surround myself with.
Yeah, for sure. And that whole dynamic was so curious, too. The last fight there, PFC 13 getting the victory over Bryce Goujon, and just how rampantly things happened thereafter. It was less than a week, and then the pandemic kind of took hold. A lot of the rampant event cancellations there. What was that like for you in the vacuum of that moment? Because I imagine there's this big high coming off of a victory like that. Like you were saying, it was the toughest test you'd had at that juncture in your career there, and then all of a sudden these rampant cancellations happening. What was that sort of week like there? Because I imagine a myriad of emotions were kind of taking hold there.
Oh yeah, it was really different, right? Because 5 days earlier I was in a packed nightclub at Rebel, fighting in front of hundreds of people, and then all of a sudden, and you're not allowed to even go see your next door neighbors. So it was tough in all aspects of life, but at that time, I didn't realize the magnitude of this. I didn't realize how much impact it would really have. A lot of them was in a few weeks, everything will be okay, and everyone's going to figure their shit out. And, obviously it didn't. So that was an interesting part in my career, because it really focused, it put me to focus on my development as an athlete, because I had been constantly competing, and, not being able to fight for a year and a half, I've changed my style. I've changed my methods. I've changed my training regime so much that it's just, I don't even recognize myself anymore, and it's beautiful.
That's an interesting point, and in the context of your opponent, Kennan Kellar, here coming up, I was going to ask, just because Kyron Cameron, someone that's fought him, and I was going to ask if you'd gotten a level of insight from him, but I'm wondering if you're applying a similar level of thought to this one, and as far as maybe just with the period of time that's been since he's last competed, maybe there's a whole new set of skills that are kind of unbeknownst to people maybe outside of his gym there. So is that kind of how you're looking at it, or have you maybe gotten some insights from Kyron Cameron ahead of this fight here?
honestly, man, it's tough, right? Because when they fought, it lasted, like 90 seconds?
Yeah, fair, right? Yeah.
So it's tough because, like, as much as, like, I have as much insight as I think I need, obviously sometimes it can be tough to fight ghosts who you don't know much about. But, I got a little bit of information, nothing crazy, right? like, and it's not like I haven't fought somebody with his body type before. Like, in my pro debut, I fought, Dave Tharm, who's like 6'3", tall, lanky striker. So, I mean, it's really, it's going to be rinse, wash, and repeat with my training. I don't think that there's anything that he's going to offer me that somebody else hasn't given me.
Yeah, fair. I mean, you get a ton of different looks where you've trained and whatnot, but just with this one being on UFC Fight Pass, like, I've talked to certain fighters, and, being on Fight Pass is like a cool sort of thing for them. For some other fighters, it's like, oh, that's all right, but it's like sort of inconsequential. Like, they could be on like the local Rogers channel for all they care, just as long as they're sort of fighting there. So, like, what are your thoughts about the whole UFC Fight Pass dynamic there?
Oh man, it's so cool, right? Like, you grow up watching the UFC, and then, a few years ago I was watching Fight Pass, and, they start to introduce these small promotions, and you're like, oh, one day, like, I want to be on that. And, it really is, it is surreal to be competing on that, because it's, a lot of eyes are on it. So at the very least, I know that there's going to be, more pressure, but at the same time, that's when I shine the best. So I'm actually, like, ecstatic that it's on Fight Pass, and, it'll open up my performance to a broader array of an audience. So, I mean, I'm excited to be on Fight Pass, and, ideally in the future, you only fight on Fight Pass.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think it's a great platform, and yeah, like you said, they're picking up a lot of cool regional shows, so cool to hear that there's that dynamic there. But I'm also curious, because we've been talking so far about some of the different, clients that you have and things of that nature. Like, what does downtime look like for you? Is there any downtime? Is it mostly just training and working with your clients and, helping them with their fitness and everything like that? Or is there some aspect of, like, downtime, like decompressing kind of activities you get up to outside of training?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because, like, even in the industry that I'm in with training, like, I'll have clients, and like, people don't typically like to train in the morning and late morning, afternoon. So I find my schedule is pretty much the same. I train in the morning, I have clients early in the morning, and then I train at about 11 o'clock, and then I train it again at about 3 o'clock, and then I have clients, or I run classes all evening from about 5 till 8 p.m. So, like, I'm pretty busy almost every single day. I'm always in and out of the house. When I'm not in and out of the house, I'm traveling. I'm going to Niagara Top Team, or I'm going to Pound for Pound in Markham, right? Like, I'm doing what I can to stay busy, but also, you have to make sure that you're recovering between sessions. So obviously, like, when I'm not training, I'm thinking about training, or when I'm not thinking about training, I'm eating. I'm trying to nourish myself. It's I'm eating a banana as we speak, like,
Yeah.
Like, you gotta, as much as you want to train all the time, and I would love that. It's like, I live in a gym. In the gym scenario, I'm there 12 hours a day. Whether it's training or teaching or just decompressing until the next session. It's like, it's become my life, and it's what you need to do to be successful, I think, in this career.
Yeah, absolutely. I love hearing the focus and the dedication there. I guess it's good that you got that partnership with Fit Chef Toronto, eh?
Oh, man, it's amazing, right? Like, the one thing as an athlete that you really struggle with is trying to find time between, trying to work and training and driving around, especially during these kind of times. So it's nice to not have to, like, prep food every single week, because I used to do that. And, the one downtime I had was preparing food, and now I don't have to. It's obviously very helpful, right? Because you're getting good food, good fuel, and that's, at the end of the day, that's huge. That's going to boost your performance more than anything will.
Yeah, for sure. Nutrition's such a key part of it all. But, you're in the gym. You're pretty much as much of a part of the gym as the mats, it sounds like, from what you're telling me. So are you the guy that's grabbing the aux cord a fair bit? Is the music kind of inconsequential to you? Like, usually I ask fighters if there's particular genres or artists that they like to jam to there. Some of them, like I said, the music a little more inconsequential. Like, where are you at with the tunes there?
Oh, buddy, I'm always got my phone on the aux. I walk in, get on there right away. I'm, like, I spent so long going to those gyms where they control the music, and it's like, one day I'm just like, I'm gonna be able to pick what I want, because I know that when I listen to my music, it puts you in a flow state, right? Like, and that's the shit that I love. And my training partners are kind of on the same page, which is nice, you know. And even if they don't like it, they don't complain. So,
so like not a particular genre necessarily, just whatever kind of fits the vibe, like pretty eclectic tunes, that kind of thing more so.
Very eclectic. If you went to my library, you'd be very confused. You'd be like, oh, there's a lot of, you know, there's rap, there's country, there's EDM. I got everything on there. But, you know, when I'm training, I definitely got a few playlists that I like, and a lot of them are you know, 2000s rap, 90s rap, some newer rap, obviously, too, but, you know, hip-hop. It's you know, I like to have a good beat to train to. Even some good Latin music, I'm definitely not saying no to.
Yeah, I'm definitely with all that, too, man, but you've been good with your time, and I want to be mindful of the rest of your, you know, perpetually busy schedule, it seems like. So to that point, is there anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping things up here, man?
Oh, man, I appreciate making time. I somehow missed the earlier session. I've been just like, I was a little out of it last week. I was sick, so I've been grinding when I come back, right? And I feel better than ever, and honestly better than I thought I would. So oh, my bad for that one. Sorry for wasting your time earlier.
No, nothing like that at all, man. Honestly, like, it's a pretty casual adaptation. It's not like it threw anything off with me. I'm just happy to get to talk to you and get some insight. So, you know, we're making it work now. That's the thing I'm focused on completely.
Oh, man, always. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But this is going to be a very intriguing fight coming up. Kennan Kellar, Bobby Poulter getting out there, BFL 68. Check that out on September the 30th, UFC Fight Pass, showcasing that welterweight bout. And yeah, just great getting some insights from you, Bobby. It's been a little bit since we last chopped it up, so good to kind of get some updates and see how you're doing and everything like that. Just hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day there, and just best of luck with the remaining part of the preparations too, man.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.